It's The Lunch Show with Chad Summers. Fasten your seatbelts for the greatest radio show in the world, ever. And now, the host of The Lunch Show, Chad Summers.
All right, welcome back to The Lunch Show, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Chad Summers. Thank you for joining us for lunch. Today is October 24th, 2025, also known as National Food Day. Really? Isn't every day National Food? It's every day's National or World Food Day, right? That's kind of ridiculous. But yeah, it is what it is. Jumping into the birthdays right off the bat, none to mention. Sorry. I think that's the third or fourth time in show history. Also on this day in history, 1940, the 40-hour work week went into effect under the U.S. Fair Labor Standards Act of 1938. I guess that's when it was written. 1929, a record 12,894,650 shares of stock were traded, causing the first day of panic in the crash of 1929, known as Black Thursday. Nightmare. That affected my family. So, yeah, it was huge. 1861, the first transcontinental telegram was sent via the telegraph in the United States, effectively bringing an end to the Pony Express. Pretty cool. 2003, Concorde, the airplane, flew its last flight by British Airways. And Air France ceased similar operations in the following May. They had a bad crash. I don't remember where it was. There was a piece of metal on the runway, and it got the wheel. They ran over it, and it shot that piece of metal up into like the engine, and the engine caught on fire, and the Concorde crashed shortly afterward, and that was the beginning of the end right there. But I knew some people that flew on that, and so that was pretty cool. And in 1945, the United Nations was established. Pretty good day for historical news there, I think. Pretty cool stories. We've got breaking news. This one from Newsmax. Latitia James appears in federal court to be arraigned. I believe this was in New York City. You mess with the bull, you're going to get the horns, I think is how that's playing out. Here's one from Access Hollywood. White House denies report Donald Trump is considering Sean Diddy Combs' pardon. Yeah, I don't know that I would pardon that dude. Just due to the nature of the crimes. You don't really want to be a part of that. You don't want to go down in history as being a part of that. And I don't think Trump will want to be either. He pardoned Blagojevich, and that was like but Blagojevich already did 8 years also, 8 years of his term. So he did a lot of time. So, and it wasn't, in the nature of his crime wasn't anything like this. It was like a white collar crime. It wasn't, and I don't even want to say the nature of it, really, to be honest with you. But yeah, I don't think he'll pardon him. TMZ, Bryant Gumbel hospitalized in New York City. I think he's retired. I don't think he's working anymore, but family member was interviewed and they said he is doing okay. So that's good. TMZ, Kiss stars gather to say goodbye at private funeral for Ace Frehley, also known as Space Ace, the greatest rock star in the history of this planet. Eddie Trunk was in attendance. He was interviewed. He said, there may be a concert in memorial for him, so that would be amazing. Um, it would be. He said it would be somewhat like a public public funeral, or as they say these days, celebration of life. But Ace was awesome. I think that would be a huge success. Here's one from Fox News. Security. This is crazy. This is breaking news, actually, also. Security at California Coast Guard base opens fire at a U-Haul truck posing, quote, a direct threat. This was following a protest where demonstrators were attempting to stop U.S. Customs agents and border protection agents from entering the facility. And, you know, if you're warned by the feds to stop, you might want to stop. And they opened fire, and they filled these guys with lead. I'm telling you right now, they were both taken to the hospital with gunshot wounds. Well, what do you think's going to happen? Good gracious. Fox News FBI Director Cash Patel warns illegal gambling sting is just the start in nationwide takedown. Uh-oh. Yeah, I can't imagine this is the extent of it. Gambling's huge right now, and apparently the Italian Mafia is involved. Subtitled "Crime Families Like Cosa Nostra." That's not a family. Are accused of having ties to the illegal gambling empire. La Cosa Nostra means this thing of ours. It's just like a philosophy, really. But the five families are the Italian Mafia of New York City, and the four families that were involved are the Bonanno, Genovese, Lucchese, and Gambinos. The Colombos were apparently not involved in this. But yeah, and there were some NBA players involved also. They would apparently get uh, falsely injured, to make some bets pay out, if you know what I'm saying. And then they would leave the game, and then it was nasty stuff. But be interesting to see what follows this with other sports, football, baseball. But yeah, to those that say, the heyday of the mafia is over, yeah, maybe the heyday, but they're still around. They're not gone. They're not whacking people like they used to. I don't think you have to whack someone to be made now. I'm almost certain of that. But yeah, they're still around, and illegal gambling is right up their alley. So this is not a shocker. Here's one from Newsmax. Trump says talks with Canada off after ad invokes Reagan. Uh-oh. I'm just going to read a little bit of that one. President Donald Trump said trade talks with Canada were terminated after a Canadian political advertisement used the recorded voice of late President Ronald Reagan saying tariffs caused trade wars and economic disaster. So yeah, that's breaking today, I believe. Also, we'll see how that pans out. That's not good for Canada. But all right, that leaves us with one news story left, and it's a good one. It always is here at the lunch show for the last article. It's how we roll. Before I do that, I just want to say subscribe to the show, though, on whatever platform you're listening. Click all the stuff that helps the show. You know what they are. I don't have to tell you. Send me an email if you have a question. Leave comments. Do whatever. Whatever it takes to help the show. We're not going anywhere, so you might as well help out. This one's from Good News Network. Virus that kills more elephants than any other cause is finally defeated. That is awesome. That is absolutely awesome. We're going to go read just a short paragraph. Veterinary immunologists have developed a vaccine for a virus that's one of the leading killers of the elephants in captivity and in the wild. With no cure and with a penchant for claiming the lives of elephants' calves, elephant endotheliotropic herpes virus has been responsible in recent years for the deaths of 5 elephants at England's Chester Zoo, in which participated in the development of the vaccine. The EEHV vaccine's successful early trials have been heralded as a landmark moment for the protection of wild and captive animals in conservation herds. That is awesome. I love elephants. They stink like hell, though. I got up close to one time, and my God, did that thing stink. But they're cool. I mean, it would be a sad day if they went extinct, so this is great news. But yeah, we're going to call that the episode. I hope you all have a good weekend. Starting to get cold out. Yeah, don't be out drinking and driving. You know, I know you're going to drink a bunch of liquor to try to stay warm. That's what you all do. I don't drink anymore. Been over 2 years. I miss it, though. I'll be honest. I don't miss the hangovers, but I miss the intoxication, I guess. To be honest, that's kind of sounds sad, but it's the whole point, right? But yeah, I don't miss like worrying about getting pulled over. Even if I only had a couple drinks, I regulated myself pretty good. But even after a couple drinks, I still worried about getting in an accident and someone getting hurt. And God, it's just not worth it. Get rideshare, you know? It's so easy. I had my car fail on me. I think I mentioned this in a past episode. And I had to leave it at a gas station. And rideshare was there in like 5 minutes. And it's not like back in the day when you'd call a cab and they'd show up 45 minutes later. Like there's probably like 10 ride shares within 5 miles from wherever you are. So maybe it's different when you're at a bar at 2 a.m. I don't know. But either way, it's not worth it. So walk, call a cab, do ride share, have a friend drive. Like a DD, not a, less drunk driver, like someone that's literally not had anything to drink. That's hard to find because everybody wants to drink, but we're going to call that the episode. Have fun this weekend. And until the next episode, keep pressing on in your life. Peace out.
All right, folks, that's it for the lunch show today. Don't forget to come back every Tuesday and Friday for new episodes. And don't forget to like, share, tweet, subscribe, friend, listen, email, and tell your friends and family about us. We need every single one of y'all. Thank you in advance for your support, and I hope you all have an awesome day.
You just listened to The Lunch Show.